The lipstick smeared on my cheek was a deep, vivid crimson, the exact shade of betrayal. It wasn't just makeup anymore. It was a mark, a signal, an omen of something far more sinister than a night of partying. Liliana, my wife of 10 years, stumbled through the front door in the early hours of the morning. She rired cheap tequila, and there was a distinct scent lingering on her clothes, floral sweet, but not her usual perfume. It was unfamiliar and unsettling, like everything else about her lately. Her movements were clumsy as she tried to kick off her heels. Then she looked up at me with glassy eyes and slurred, "Sorry I'm late, babe." She leaned in, planting a sloppy kiss on my cheek, the lipstick transferring to my skin with careless ease. "Girls' night got a little extended," she added, followed by a giggle. That giggle, it used to be something I adored. It used to make my heart feel light, remind me of how lucky I was. But that night, it made my stomach twist. It sounded forced. Hello, wrong. There had been signs. I'd noticed them, ignored them, tried to reason them away. The missed calls, the text she answered with her back turned, the way she suddenly became hyper-focused on her appearance, buying new clothes, trying new hairstyles, wearing lingerie she hadn't touched in years. She claimed it was for herself, for confidence. I wanted to believe her, but more and more her affection felt rehearsed, her explanations thin. Her gaze would shift slightly when I asked where she'd been, and her answers came too quickly, too perfectly. Something was slipping. Something was breaking. Still, I held on. I told myself that every couple goes through rough patches, that I was just being insecure, that if I just loved her enough, we could get back to what we used to be. But that night, the night she came home reeking of liquor and wearing someone else's scent, something inside me refused to ignore it any longer. She passed out on the bed within minutes, snoring softly, her makeup smudged. I sat beside her for a while, just staring. The room was quiet, the only sound, the gentle buzz of her phone on the nightstand. I looked at it. One new message. I hesitated. I knew I shouldn't. I had always respected her privacy, but privacy is earned with trust, and mine had been wearing thin. That message, its timing, its secrecy was a final push. The phone lit up with a preview from a number saved as Spa Day. It read, "Tonight was amazing. Miss you already, X." I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. Spa Day. She told me she was going to the spa last week, too. My hands were trembling as I unlocked the phone. The message thread stretched back weeks, maybe longer. There were countless texts, intimate, emotional, detailed. They spoke of hotel rooms, of secret moments in parking lots, of laughter and longing and heat. This wasn't just a fling. This was an affair built on emotion, desire, and planning. And then I saw the saved voicemails. There were two. The first was from a man, smooth-voiced and confident. "Hey, beautiful. Just thinking about you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow." I felt physically ill. The second voicemail shook me even harder. It was Liliana. Her voice sounded lighter, breathier, giddy in a way she hadn't been around me in years. "Oh, Daniel, I can't stop thinking about you either. Being with you is its everything." Daniel, the name cut to me like glass. I sat there in the dim glow of the phone screen, the truth slicing through me again and again. All the years, the memories, the inside jokes, the holidays, the dreams of growing old together. It all collapsed under the weight of those few seconds of audio. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat in silence, the phone still in my hand, feeling like the earth beneath me had vanished. By morning, I had made a decision. When she woke up, groggy and disoriented, I greeted her with calmness that belied the storm inside me. I brought her coffee, sat down across from her, and asked, "How was your night out with the girls?" She blinked, then smiled awkwardly. "It was fun. A little too much tequila, I think." "I'm sure," I said, my tone flat but edged. Then I asked, "Did you go to the spa too?" She stiffened just slightly. Her hand trembled as she lifted the mug. A bit of coffee spilled onto the table. What are you talking about?" she asked, voice shaky. Without a word, I took her phone out of my pocket and played the second voicemail. The room filled with her voice, the voice I thought I knew, confessing her desire for another man. Her face turned ghostly pale. Her breath caught in her throat. Panic flickered in her eyes. She couldn't deny it. The truth was right there, echoing in the air between us. "Who is Daniel?" I asked quietly, every syllable sharp of restrained rage. She couldn't answer. Her mouth opened and closed like she was searching for words she didn't have. Eventually, she choked out, "I can explain." Explain. My voice cracked, the pain I'd been suppressing bleeding through. Explain how you could lie to me over and over. How you could look me in the eye every day while sneaking around behind my back. Over the following days, the truth unraveled like an old sweater. She had met Daniel, a colleague, at a conference several months ago. What started as a flirtation turned into something more. She said it was a mistake, a moment of weakness, just physical, just temporary. But the evidence said otherwise. The messages were emotional. The voicemails personal. She hadn't just cheated on me. She had built another relationship in the shadows while pretending ours was still intact. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't look at her without feeling sick. The trust was broken beyond repair. But I wasn't done. I needed Daniel to know what he'd done. I needed him to feel even a fraction of what I felt. Finding him wasn't hard. His social media was full of curated perfection. Pictures of his smiling wife, his kids, office parties, tropical vacations. I learned where he worked. I waited outside his office one night in the cold, my breath fogging in front of me. When he stepped outside and saw me, he froze. His face drained of color. "You're Liliana's husband," he said, barely above a whisper. "That's right," I answered. "We need to talk." I didn't shout. I didn't threaten. I told him everything. I showed him the texts. I played the voicemails. I watched as the self-assured expression slowly faded, replaced with guilt, fear, and realization. He tried to blame Liliana, tried to say she misled him, but I stopped him with one hard look. "You destroyed my marriage," I told him, "and now I'm going to destroy yours." I walked away, not out of vengeance, but out of necessity. He had made his choices. Now he would face the cost. Within a few weeks, the fallout began. Liliana and I filed for divorce. She moved out, the house echoing with the emptiness she left behind. She cried, begged me for a second chance. But it was too late. Every glance at her brought back the lies, the voicemail, the lipstick. Daniel's world fell apart, too. I heard through mutual contacts that his wife had left him. She took the children. His professional reputation took a hit. His once polished life turned to ash, but there were no victors, only damage. I sold the house, the place where we'd once planned our future. I started over alone. It wasn't easy. The loneliness came in waves, sometimes crushing, but day by day, I put myself back together. I focused on work. I found old hobbies. I leaned on friends. I began slowly to feel human again. Years later, I saw her, Liliana, in a coffee shop. She looked older, tired. Her smile was faint, her eyes shadowed. We talked, not about the affair, just life, the passage of time, the things we'd both lost. She apologized again, her voice steady this time, sincere. I forgave her, not to make her feel better, but to release myself from the weight I'd carried for so long. Forgiveness wasn't forgetting. It wasn't excusing. It was freedom. The lipstick smear that had once marked the moment everything changed had long since vanished. The betrayal had dulled. The wounds had healed, though the scars remained. But they were mine. Proof that I'd survived, that I'd endured, that I could feel again. And somehow that was